Thank you, Madam President. Let me briefly respond to some of the points that Majority Leader McConnell has made, his inaccurate statements. Now, I'm delighted that after talking on the floor of the Senate for years about socialism for the rich, apparently that has gotten across to my Republican friends. Of course, that's what we do every single day. That's why we have the incredible level of income and wealth inequality that exists in this country, because decade after decade, we have used this body to provide massive tax breaks to the rich, provided corporate welfare to corporations who don't need it. That is socialism for the rich. Majority Leader is right. But let's talk about, in fact, what is in this bill. According to the Tax Policy Center, less than 1% of the benefits of the direct payments, that's the $2,000 per working class adult that Senator Schumer and I are talking about, less than 1% would go to the top 5% of Americans. Virtually nothing goes to the very, very rich. Overwhelming majority of those funds go to the middle class, the working class, low-income people who, in the midst of this pandemic, are in desperate economic condition. Now, again, I am delighted to hear the Majority Leader talking about socialism for the rich, and I hope we will continue that discussion in the next session. So let me talk about the socialism for the rich that the Majority Leader is enthusiastically supportive of. Majority Leader helped lead this body to pass Trump's tax bill. Now, you want to talk about socialism for the rich, Mr. Majority Leader? Under that bill, Charles Koch, one of the very richest people in America, he has a net worth of $113 billion. That bill gave Mr. Koch a $1.4 billion tax break. Majority Leader, that sounds to me like socialism for the rich. But that's not all. Way in Nevada, we have a gentleman named Sheldon Adelson, a major contributor to the Republican Party, big funder for Donald Trump. Under that same tax bill, led by the Majority Leader, Sheldon Adelson received a $560 million tax break. Guy who's worth $34 billion desperately needed that tax break, $560 million. Want more tax breaks for the rich? Want to talk about socialism for the rich? Senator McConnell had no problem giving a $104 million tax refund to Amazon over the past 3 years, despite the fact that that company made $30 billion in profit. So the argument that this bill in any significant way benefits the rich is just not accurate. But let us talk about who this bill does benefit. This bill benefits tens of millions of Americans who, as a result of this pandemic, have lost their lives, lost their jobs, they have lost their jobs, they have lost their incomes, and some, in fact, have lost their lives. These are people who are going hungry today. We are seeing, Madam President, a record-breaking level of hunger in America today, in the richest country in the history of the world. All over this country, and I receive emails from people all over this country, people are frightened to death that they are going to be evicted from their homes. And think about what a $4,000 check or a $5,000 check would mean to those struggling families, husband, wife, kids. And in fact, let me give you an example. This is a problem taking place all over this country, taking place in Vermont, taking place in Senator Schumer's state. It is taking place in Kentucky. In fact, in the state of Kentucky, a very beautiful state. I've had the pleasure of being there a number of times. Beautiful state. But Kentucky is the state where 10 out of the 25 poorest counties in America exist. And I'm sure Senator McConnell is aware that throughout his state, you got thousands and tens of thousands of people living in economic desperation. And I'm talking about counties where 30 to 40% of people are living in poverty and where many thousands of residents are trying to survive on less than $20,000 a year. I'm talking about a state, the state of Kentucky, and I'm just using Kentucky as an example because that's the state Senator McConnell represents, true all over this country. But in Kentucky, over 22% of the children are living in poverty. You think they might need a little bit of help? More than, in the state of Kentucky, more than 190,000 workers are making extremely low wages, and where over 500,000 people earn less than $15 an hour. Somebody might want to ask those people what a $2,000 a check per adult would mean. And I'm talking in Kentucky, and I'll never forget this because I visited Kentucky and talked to some of the people there. Kentucky has suffered a particular opioid crisis. And I'll never forget talking to a football coach who told me that a bunch of the kids on his football team were living with their grandparents or on couches because of the opioid epidemic. In other words, the people in Kentucky, the people in New York, the people in Vermont are hurting. They need help. So I say today to Senator McConnell, the leader here, let us address the horrendous economic crisis facing tens of millions of Americans. The pandemic today is worse than it has ever been. Hopefully, the vaccine will make a profound difference. But right now, people are hurting, and they're looking to this institution. They're looking to Congress, and the House did the right thing. They're now looking to the Senate. They're looking to Senator McConnell. And after all is said and done, after all of the legalese, and I'm going to be introducing some legalese in a moment, it comes down to one thing. Senator McConnell disagrees with the proposal that Senator Schumer and I are making. I got it. That's fine. It's a democracy. He has the right to his point of view. I would love to have the debate on the floor with Senator McConnell about this legislation. All that we are asking is give us the opportunity to vote up or down on whether or not working families in this country should be able to receive a $2,000 check. Senator McConnell disagrees. Come to the floor. Tell us why you disagree. And then we'll do what this institution is supposed to do. We will have a vote. Now, the truth is that in the House, Senator McConnell knows, 44 Republicans voted for the House bill, which won, by the way, by a 2-to-1 majority. 2/3 of the House voted to make sure that working Americans will get a $2,000 check. Right here in the Senate, there are a number of Republicans, not clear how many, who have already gone public in saying they think it is a good idea that we go forward with the House bill. So all that I am asking Senator McConnell is, give us a vote. What is the problem? You could vote no. And by the way, we need 60 votes, a majority, no question to my mind, that a majority of the senators will vote yes. But because of House rules, we need 60 votes. So we're going to have to get 48 Democrats, that's what we got, plus 12 Republicans. Can we get 12 Republicans? I don't know. Maybe we can, maybe we can't. But give us a vote. What is the problem? What is the problem with having the American people see how their senators vote on this issue of such enormous importance? Now, as Senator Schumer indicated, Senator McConnell has some other concerns, concerned about Section 230 of the 1996 Federal Telecommunications Act. I'm sure that that is absolutely on the minds of everybody in Vermont, New York, and Kentucky, probably all that they're talking about, the 1996 Telecommunications Act. But fine, he wants to vote on that, bring it to the floor. Let's vote on it as a separate bill. We want to talk about election security. Senator Schumer is right, a lot of issues out there. I'm concerned about voter suppression. I'm concerned about people waiting online 5 hours to cast a vote. I'm concerned about voter intimidation. Senator McConnell has different points of view. Let's have that discussion. Put together a commission. No problem. Bring that bill to the floor. But everybody understands that when you combine all three elements, this is a poison pill designed to kill that legislation. So after everything is said and done, all of this comes down to one simple fact. Will Senator McConnell, the Republican leader of the U.S. Senate, allow this body to vote on a bill which will provide $2,000 per person to working-class families all across this country? That's what this whole debate is about. It's not whether you like the bill, you don't like, we can have that debate. Got 3 days left in this Congress. The House did the right thing. It's now time for the Senate to have that vote. So, Madam President, I ask unanimous consent that at 3 p.m. today, Thursday, December 31st, the Senate proceed to the consideration of calendar number 645, H.R. 9051, to provide a $2,000 direct payment to the working class. That the bill be considered read a third time in the Senate vote on passage of the bill, and that if passed, the motion to reconsider be considered made and laid upon the table. Further, that following the vote on H.R. 9051, the Senate resume consideration of the veto message on H.R. 6395, the National Defense Authorization Act, and the Senate vote on passage of the bill. The objections of the President to the contrary notwithstanding, all with no intervening action or debate.
Is there objection?
Object.